Welcome, friends, to episode 313 of Color Magic, your Magic Gaming podcast, where we talk about all types of issues that affect gamers at and away from your gaming tables and computers. I am your host, PowrDragn, and for 313 episodes, still got my main man, Brian Sonic, who you won't see if you're watching live because he's in the witness protection program, but you get to hear his sultry voice. So, how you doing, dude?
Oh my god, that's heck of an intro. Now I gotta be sultry and now I gotta not give away my location.
You just got to give him the Luther. Dude, speaking of old music, I saw a TikTok the other day where a guy said Marvin Gaye really didn't know anything that was going on in the world, did he? And I was like, what's he talking about? And then he showed the titles of all of his popular songs, and they're all questions. And I was like, damn, he's right though. I was like, man, little things that have been there the whole time that you just don't notice till somebody points it out. I just always think that stuff's funny.
Like I saw one where they talk about all Billy Joel songs fall into one or two categories. Like she's a feisty woman, but I love her anyway. Or look at these a-holes. Or I think the third category is remember how much fun this used to be. I thought about it. Yeah, that's pretty much accurate.
Yeah, fair. That's a real one. Hey, before we get into everything, got to remind everybody, take care of a little bit of a business here. But if you would support us over at Patreon, we'd appreciate it. You can go over to patreon.com/colorofmagic. And you can even get a shout out potentially just like Hubert Huang. So thank you so much for being a patron. And if you want to just get some money for yourself to buy some magic cards, because that's awesome, you can go over to Manapool. They're big supporters of the show. Go to manapool.com/promo/colormagic. You literally take like 30 seconds to a minute to sign up. They put $5 worth of credit in your account. That's it. Like there's no tricks, no extra things. Like you can't, and we've had a lot of people take us up on it. Like they've increased the number of slots we have, and now I think there's 9 slots left. I'm gonna have to contact them so we have more because y'all just keep going and getting the free money, which is great. Y'all should
Right?
tell your friends to go do it, honestly. And they're
Ain't
having a
nothing
great like
wrong with free money.
dude, people love their site too because if they showed their numbers on socials, like they have exponentially grown this year. So people are definitely starting to use them even more so than using TCG Player on the regular. So go check them out, man. Totally worth it. But that brings us to a very interesting lead story. And Brent, you pointed this one out to me because this has gone under my radar, but this is kind of crazy. So why don't you tell us about this one? Because this is something.
Yeah, this started out as hey, this Steam, this new game on Steam is really tearing up the charts, and it was for most people in the gaming journalism was going to be a positive story. Then as we kind of pulled away at the layers, like wait, I recognize that artwork and that piece of artwork, and literally every piece of artwork seems like it came from a much extremely much better known game. It's a game called Dreadmyst that again has been really hot on Steam over the past week. But people, for example, there's a Koth of the Hammer is appears in the game, and obviously didn't get any permission for anybody at Wizards to do that. The games that this person stole from are also crazy. Magic the Gathering, like most popular card game ever. The Witcher, one of the most popular RPGs. I mean, they
Yeah.
are stealing from the goats. It just
Dude, they were
when we
saying they
say steal from the best, we usually mean, hey, look at the things they did well in their game, and put your own spin. Like obviously after Batman Arkham Asylum came out, 15 games came out with the Arkham Asylum combat. They didn't all steal Batman because you can't do that.
Yeah, and apparently, I guess according to the story, this guy already had beef with a bunch of like World of Warcraft players or something.
Yeah, apparently a very well-known troll, and there seems to be some debate as to whether this apparently I guess it goes by Gummy52, and it may or may not be the one behind this game, but it seems like everybody that's in the know on Steam and the Warcraft community believes that Gummy52 is responsible for this game. It seems like the kind of behavior that Gummy52 is pretty much well known for.
It's just crazy. Like, because here's the thing. Like, and before I say this, I am not condoning anybody steal any artwork from
Right.
anyone, right? I'm just saying that up front because I know people be like,
Yeah,
PowrDragn said, like, no, that is not what I'm saying.
right,
But what I am saying is, if you were gonna do it, why steal artwork from literally the giants of the industry?
right.
Right? Like every piece of artwork,
MTG art, nobody'll catch that.
that's the thing. Every piece of art you're using, I'm assuming somewhere in the ballpark of at least 1 million people have seen.
The Witcher
Like,
is so popular, it's got a freaking Netflix TV show.
exactly. That's what I'm just like, how did you not think people were gonna see this?
That Brian Siding is not telling you to steal either, but I would say out of there are probably 50 games that I'll write about this year that if I saw the artwork again, I wouldn't recognize it because that story, first story, and then probably the last story about their servers are closed down will be the only two stories I write because there are just so many games where that's just how fast they go away. Again, not
That's
saying you
very
should
true.
steal, but
Hell,
stealing from Magic is mind-boggling,
I'm not obviously not a fan of like generative AI,
right?
but even that would be better than stealing artwork from these mega corporations, basically. Like, what are you doing?
Let me
Like,
say, y'all, I'm having some allergies. So if it sounds like my nasal cavity exploded, that's because that's what happened.
because it probably did.
Yep.
Like, here's the other crazy thing too is even with this, with by the way, calling your game Dreadmyst, it probably AI assisted that name. It sounds
Yeah,
like
and I
with
get it. It's especially for the RP. Well, I guess in every category, it's getting harder and harder to come up with names unless you have, it's John Madden football or the
yeah.
Michael Jordan basketball. So if you don't have a licensee that signs on, it's got to be harder and harder to come because again, thousands of games every year.
Oh, sure. But the odd thing is, okay, let's say his game continues to have success because it's apparently somewhat popular right now. Whatever amount of money you make, that's kind of going to end up not mattering if you get sued by all of these companies
And I'm
because
sure
you
that'll be
have
the
to
next story.
know they're going to come for their pound of flesh.
Yeah. Especially if your game's popular. If you made no money, they might not even bother to call a lawyer. But if there's money to be made, oh
Hmm.
yeah, the lawyers for Wizards of the Coast, CD Project Red, they all about to be all in your DMs.
Yeah. Like I imagine every game company right now is probably going to start looking. You're probably going to have people from Riot, people from Blizzard,
Yep.
people like just double checking. Like if he's stealing from anybody else, he probably got some of ours in there.
And at
You
that,
know,
yeah, because you didn't steal a bunch of art, and then be like, "Oh, but for this, I'm really gonna hunker down and hire professional artists." There's no way you did that.
exactly. So
You don't
you
steal
know
half the artwork generally,
there's probably by the time we hear the end of this, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out he probably has like 10 different games that he stole artwork from.
right?
And that's going to be a crazy situation cuz again, I get whatever money you make, it's going to go either to legal fees or restitution, right? To pay the other companies back, one or the other. So I don't really see the point here. Again, especially in a world of AI right now. Again, I don't like it, but you're safer doing that than you are stealing from people.
And also, somebody has pointed out that the terms of service button that that you have to sign up to play pretty much any online game are literally just placeholders. So yeah, this just screams scam, absolute scam. From again, we don't know for a fact it's Gummy 52, but all the people that investigate this stuff seem to think it's Gummy 52,
Yeah, that's crazy,
and
man.
they're not got a good history. So it's that's the other thing. If you when people suspect you of doing dirt, it's because you've been caught doing dirt before. Generally,
I'm just so baffled because I'm generally because when this stuff happens, I do try to at least put the human element in and try to put myself in the other person's shoes. But I'm just thinking like there's no world where I'm like, you know what'd be a great idea though? What if I stole some magic planeswalkers and use those as my character shots?
right?
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if I chose some key characters from The Witcher and just
Yeah.
made those some of the like important interactive NPCs or whatever? Like that there's no world where I think that's a remotely good idea. Like it's just not. Again, especially since I can just go to the internet and like I don't know, make me a fiery, muscular character, blah, blah, whatever, and then just slap that
Right.
on something. Like,
Yeah, we're not recommending any of this terrible behavior, but just God, don't violate copyright. Don't
yeah,
steal stuff.
exactly.
Every week we feel like we end up saying something like all babies should eat. Just to kind of
Yeah.
but
This is
every
this
week
is
we end up having to say it.
it's just a common sense thing. Like, and again,
Don't harass women. You feel like this
yeah.
should be we every week we end up having to say it again.
But dude, I'm generally sitting here thinking, like, the idea, like, it's like if I was in college and I wanted to plagiarize a piece, I'm gonna try to find something from some small school, from somewhere. I'm not trying to find one that of somebody who went to the same university I went to and took the same course, because there's a real chance that professor's probably read this before.
Right?
You know what I
Especially
mean?
if it
Like,
was a good paper, they're gonna remember the really good papers they read. And yes, professor, you're gonna remember the really good stuff you read, because the same applies to being an editor. You're gonna remember the worst stories you edited.
mhm. But
To
this is
some
that
extent, folks, believe it or not, writing styles are like fingerprints. That's why it's so damn easy to catch AI.
yeah. That but this is very much like that though. You're going to a situation where everyone who's seen these before, if your game is good and catches on, are gonna go, "Hey, where have I seen that before?"
Right?
Right? Like, that looks familiar. And it's like, "Yep, there you go."
People that play caught to the hammer, or they again, they're red deck wins. They're gonna recognize it. They're
Oh, instantly. Like, as soon as I saw
upside
this
down in their sleep and backwards. They'll recognize caught to the hammer. Okay,
as soon as I saw the shot, I went, "Wow, that's crazy." Like, yeah, like you actually did the thing. Okay, cool. Wow. But you
there
know
may
what?
be 10% of the people in the world that know, but dang it, they know.
Yep. And we'll follow up on this. I'm sure we'll hear in about 2 months. There's some legal processes or something, or hell, it'll probably get taken
That'd
off
be
Steam
like
potentially.
next week. I expect it to be the next story. Either this game has been shut down or something will happen.
Yeah, that's the other real issue too, is if they end up filing legal issues, especially from multiple companies, they can just go to Steam and be like, "Hey, y'all are promoting a thing
Right?
that has our stolen property in it." And if
Yeah, and
they get
Steam will
that from
absolutely be like, oh,
well, if they get it from a couple of the big companies, like those companies have made them a lot of money.
mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna want to piss them off.
No.
So this dude's probably in a lot of trouble. But all right, let's hop into the soapbox because I do have a thing this week that came up just yesterday, actually. And man, I say it came up yesterday. It came up yesterday for me, but I've seen this repeated behavior in hell, probably for forever. It's ramped up a bit though, I would say in the last 6 months when I'm watching other people's streams or looking in their YouTube comments or whatever. The idea that folks don't like a game. And by the way, when I say I'm not saying like this game company is known for slaughtering puppies, right? This is just I just don't like the game. I think the game's trash or whatever. And then
And we'll give
go
you one. You're welcome to say that one time. Okay, I don't like the particular game. Okay, you've said your
sure.
piece now.
But then you show up in somebody's YouTube comments, in some cases repeatedly, because I've seen this happen, or like what happened to me, just middle of the stream, you just roll in and be like, man, this trash ass game. And then you want to go on a rant. And it's like, okay, but then why are you here?
Right?
Because I've said before, I played League of Legends for a while. The community got out of hand to where I was reporting stuff. I really could have reported something every game, but I was doing it
Yeah,
basically every other
absolutely.
game. And I just decided I don't want to deal with it anymore. But if I see somebody playing League of Legends, I don't go into their thing and just start berating them or
You're
talking
not gonna
crap
go
about
in and
right.
act like the prototypical League of Legends player. You're not gonna do that.
Well, that's true, right? Like be the change you want to see, I guess. But it's a weird behavior. Like cuz here's my thing. Like what did you expect me to do, right? Be like, "Man, you know what? You right. This game is trash.
Yeah.
I should be playing something else." Like
What
what?
would you like me to play? I guess in their ideal world, that's what happens. But no, has it?
Yeah, that's always my thought of like again, putting myself in their shoes. Okay, you came in with this thing. You thought it was a good idea. because you saw this pop up either, I don't know, in the listed stuff on Twitch or YouTube recommended streams or whatever. You go to click on it, even though you don't like the game, right? You decide to click on it to go in there, with this whole other chat happening, people having a good time, and then to trash the game. Okay, that's step one. What's step two?
Yeah.
Because
It's like when I
this feels
see
like the
dudes.
underwear gnomes, right?
Yeah.
Do the thing, question mark, profit, right? Like, I don't know, like,
It's like when I see dudes catcall a women and just like, bruh, has it ever worked? Like a single time in your life have you behaved that way and the ladies be like, "Oh yeah, you want to go out later?"
dude, I feel that way about so many things in life. Like,
Right?
I truly watch people's behavior and go like, that's not gonna work, right?
Like, yeah,
If
has it ever worked? Because
yeah,
okay,
like
if it's even worked for you even once, okay, I get it. You've had the bad behavior reinforced. But in most cases, like, no, it ain't never worked. Then what the F are you still doing it for?
exactly. Like, again, what is the behavior you expect to get out of that? Like, you roll
Yeah.
in, somebody's doing a promotion, live stream, whatever, making a YouTube video, having fun, basically, right? And you're gonna roll in with this 100 people having fun and just be like, y'all are stupid because y'all play this stupid game. Like, okay.
And I just catch you having fun.
Yeah. I'm just like, what's even the point? Like, that's the thing I can't get my head around. Is like, what is your expected outcome from that? Because again, at least if you were literally like, hey, this company is doing something I find morally and ethically wrong or whatever, cool. You're at least raising awareness to a thing, and maybe some number of people may not have known or whatever. But when your grievance is just like, I just don't like it, like, okay, there's a lot of games I don't like, but I don't go into the streams or the YouTube comments and start giving the people crap because they're having fun with the game.
Like I've seen the bars where people get drunk and throw axes. I have so many questions. I'm not going to the place where the drunk people are throwing axes and asking these questions.
That is true. That is true. I've thrown some axes. I ain't throwing them when I'm drunk though. That's a whole other scenario.
Right?
But yeah, it's just weird, like just that bit of human behavior. And again, like I said, I've seen it ramped up a bit, and I get it. World issues and everybody being stressed and people not being happy, and people projecting their negativity on. I get that part of it, but it's just like, dude, what are we doing? Like you're trying to stomp on somebody else's happiness for no real outcome. Like it just makes you look weird. And the crazy thing is, most people are like me, where I just reach over and go, "Cool, hide user from channel," and then
Right.
we just continue on. We never see you again. Like
I'm sure
that's
probably, and then probably before they did that, they were yelling at their significant other, roommate, whoever, and they just ignored them. So it just
yeah, and
at
I get
some
it.
point they'll get it.
There is some element of people just want to be heard, right? They just want to matter, I guess. But that's just such a weird way to do it, right? Because you could have come in and been like, "Hey, you could have started a conversation." Of like, "Oh, I find it interesting that so many people still enjoy this because like I hated it because of this thing." And like, "Okay, cool. We can have a talk about that element of the game." Right? Like, that's cool. Same way if I was like,
Because very rarely is there ever constructed. It's just this thing sucks. Like, okay, how would you improve it? And then,
"Yeah,
that now
dude,
you've blown their mind. They got nothing else.
we said that here on the show. When we have a complaint about a thing, a process, whatever, we at least try to give something constructive to go with it. It's rarely that we're going to get in here and rant about a thing that's like, they really messed this one up. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, because again, there's nothing creative or constructive about that conversation. That's just ranting and being mad. Like, you just got to do better, people. Like, what are we doing? But I don't know, man. It's, again, I kind of get it from a human element, but it's just like, you're not helping anything, and you're just making yourself look stupid. That's the other part. Like you're not
Nah, what are the ones that I have a lot of experience with? Madden is the one where okay, yeah, you can go. Remember these three features they took out 10 years ago? That's a conversation we can have because yeah, they are
sure,
notorious for taking a feature out, and then 3 or 4 years later, that's a conversation everybody in the chat would engage you in if you went at it that way. As opposed to, this just sucks. I don't know why you're playing it. People are
that's exactly it.
obviously watching
If you
them play it.
if you bring something specific, we can have a chat, right? But if it's just, I don't know, undirected anger,
Yeah.
then like, what are we doing?
I think
You're
any
not
really
you're not going to make anybody change their mind. You're
Yeah.
not gonna be heard any better. You're just wasting air.
I think anybody will engage you if you have actual interesting, because again, on any well, stream, YouTube, blog posts, we are attempting to start a conversation. That's why
Yeah,
so many posts end with, "What do you think about this?"
for sure. And I'm openly saying, like, I don't necessarily agree with every single mechanic and blah blah whatever. I don't like some things. So we can have real conversations about stuff. But when you just barrel in and just throw out this big chunk of negativity with nothing attached to it, everybody kind of goes like, "What's with the weird guy that just walked in?"
Great.
Yeah, right. Like, and that's it. Like you get that reaction, and that's the end of it. And we go back to what we were doing. So yeah, man. People, get yourselves together. It's weird. But all right. That brings us to some topics. We have a lot of fun things to cover here and some good news, I guess. So those of you that follow the show and or saw the discussions on Twitter, you saw that there were people kind of being upset that they weren't getting their particularly the Final Fantasy collector booster boxes that they won for Arena Direct, because those are the most expensive, still popular ones. But Wizard said, "Hey, there's this stuff in the fine print that we can just pay you for them." And there was like this whole discussion on were they going to pay $470 or whatever it was per box. However, somebody did get a response from Wizard, or not even a response, just a message from Wizards last week saying that, hey, we found some boxes that we're going to send you. And by found, they are coming from Europe, supposedly. They
Okay.
said it was LSV who posted it. And the email he got, which looks like a kind of the emails you get from Arena, so it's like a kind of like the black background, white text, whatever. So it probably went to multiple people, but I'm going to read it out here. It says, "We are reaching out because our records indicate that we ran out of the stock on Magic's Gathering Final Fantasy collector booster boxes for Arena Direct prizes before you were able to claim your prize. We had an additional Final Fantasy collector booster boxes sent from Europe with expedited shipping, and we expect to begin to fulfill your order in the next 3 weeks. We'll email you a link to claim your prize as soon as we can. We appreciate everyone's patience and understanding." Kind of a good resolution, right? I mean,
Great.
because let's be honest, it's likely cheaper for Wizards to just give you more product than it is for
Yeah.
them to give you fresh cash for it, right? That's the first thing. And that might be part of it too. Wizards might have been like, "Yo, hold up. We still got to send out," and I'm just making up a number here, but let's say it was still like 1,000 boxes that have to go out to people. Well, that's a big chunk when you got to pay 400 and some dollars a box. They were probably like, hold up. If we send product that costs us like 10% of that, nah, let's send the product out instead.
Great.
But somebody said, well, where did they just find all these boxes? Did they just print a bunch more and now the collector boxes aren't as rare as like? Here's the thing. First off, if they did print just enough to take care of the players, that wouldn't change the numbers of product enough in the wild to really affect the prices. I don't think so. I don't think that's really a big deal. However, I don't think they actually did that. For anybody who doesn't know business, there are a lot of situations where companies and vendors or stores make deals based on 30-day net terms, 45 days, 60-day, 90-day. You get stuff advanced. Some of them get the ability to return stuff that doesn't sell. Kind of just depends what the product is in the company and their relationships. Now, I'm not 100% set on how they do business in Europe. I'll admit that up front. So this is very much speculation. But it's possible that some company had a big order set to go out to them and maybe went out of business, right? A bunch of businesses have closed lately. There could be 2 or 3 pallets of product just sitting around, right? It's also possible somebody didn't pay their bill, right? Some vendor was like, "Yep, we're ready to get our Final Fantasy," and Wizards like, "Yeah, you still owe us X number of 100K. We need that first before we send this out."
Great.
And then it didn't happen, and it's still sitting in the warehouse, right? I just bring this type of stuff up because there's multiple ways that this product could still be there, be legit, have been printed, and just be sitting in a warehouse, not shipped to somebody yet, right?
And
There's
I'm gonna guess,
Mhm.
we hear people talk about the value of their cards going down. I'm gonna guess the number of cards that got into the market to even move the needle on card value is probably an astronomical amount. More than you're gonna find in in a few warehouses somewhere.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot, and some number of these boxes will still have like the golden chocobos and whatever, because not all of those have been found yet. So it'll be fine. It's not going to affect much of anything. But it's tough because again, you see some people immediately jump to speculation, and it's like not everything is the worst case scenario. There are real ways and reasons this product could exist. Like, trust me, I peek behind the curtain, but one of my jobs when I was at Wizards was dealing with all the promos that go to different places. Part of my job was literally to decide what to do with leftover promos that didn't go out to places, like how much we had to save. Do we bring some in house to use for giveaways for special events? Blah blah. So like, there's product printed that's just around, and it's possible maybe they did print overage for Arena Direct, and most of the Arena Direct winners were in the U.S. and not in Europe. And they tried to figure out the proportions that need to be printed, whatever, and maybe they went, okay, we fulfilled everything in Europe and we still have this left over, let's use that to take care of the overage that we didn't have in America, right? And that's, it could be just that simple, really, not even anything complex or complicated. So just want to bring that up because it is some good news. Everybody's going to be made whole on their issues, it sounds like, or at least, let me say, at least as far as Final Fantasy collector boxes go. There's still other ones that need to be shipped, and that's a different
Yeah.
problem. But at least this is a step in the right direction to resolve all that.
And like you said, some people, even though they were owed product, went ahead and went back into the queue. So when somebody owes you money, and you essentially let them borrow more money, at some point we gotta look at you and be like, "Hey, come on now, what you
Yep, you know
doing?"
what it is? That's that cousin that keeps coming up like, man, anyway, I could hold $20 till Friday, like,
Right?
and then after the third time, you just have to go like, there's a chance I ain't getting this back, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and you either if you love your cousin enough, to keep doing that, okay, that's fine. Or you just, it's hey, you just accept it as a donation, or hey, if you need that money back, you're like, nah, it's the best I can. Can't do nothing for you, man. Flavor Flav
yep,
got problems of his own.
that's exactly it. So yeah, we'll see. Again, we'll follow up. I'm sure people will start posting probably mid-February when they start getting their stuff, but we'll see. Another interesting bit of Wizards news that crossed that a lot of people may not have seen because it came through the WPN communications. And WPN is Wizards Play Network. It's for all your retail stores or local game stores that carry Magic, particularly. But they sent a message out, and there's a little article that says the 60 card theme decks are going to be a new path into constructed for Magic. And what they're making sounds like a, I guess, the old Challenger decks, but better. These are more described as ready to play decks that deliver a flavorful and fun experience built around one of two fan favorite themes. And the first two are going to be Angels and Pirates. And then they will have others that come out. It sounds like, I don't know if it's going to be every set, but a couple times a year, they will have new decks available.
And will there be a pirate angel? God, I hope so.
No, I know. Actually, the thing about these is these are all going to be, it sounds like standard legal because they are going to be standard legal and offer stores a versatile product range for players. Got to use the company speak. But it sounds like these are more complete decks and they're leaning on using where they can, and it makes sense, more cards from foundations. So, one of the issues I think with challenger decks was that there might be a card that's needed for the deck, but you only get two. It's like, well, the deck's kind of based around this card. Only having two doesn't make a lot of sense. Now I got to go buy those two cards. Because, like, I'm okay if they're not 100% complete, but the key cards need to be there. You know, Sounds like they're solving that somewhat with this. And by using foundations cards where it makes sense, these will be standard legal longer. Or you'll have to swap out maybe just a couple of cards and keep playing your deck for another 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Which is really a smart idea because that was the issue with Challenger decks too that people forget. When we were on the old 2 year rotation system, they almost always came out in, I want to say, like April ish, May of the year. Some of those cards were going to rotate in September. So it was like, okay, I buy this, but it's only standard legal for 6 months. And then I have to automatically start replacing a bunch of cards. And then you do the same thing the next year. And I think Watsy's concern there was by doing that, you would not harm the value of cards or whatever that are going to be around for a while. Because if you end up putting them in deck, it's reprinted, you bring the value down, but you're only harming it for like the 6 months at the end of a standard run or whatever, which, appreciative. But now standard's already 3 years anyway, and foundations is going to be on 5 year rotation. So the cards are just going to be standard legal longer regardless. So if you're going to do it, just go all in and do it. And who knows? They haven't said anything as far as I can tell if there's going to be special artwork or whatever. Might just be actual cards just as reprints, but I'm kind of here for it. I think it's cool to, one, have decks that are ready and available for anybody who just wants to jump into standard. And I think it's a good transition point for players if they're just learning and maybe you want to try it out, but you don't want to go figure out how to build a deck for 60 card Magic. Cool. You can just go spend like, I'm assuming they're going to be in like the $30, $39 range. Scoop them and go play.
And that's the thing I do, even if it's only legal for the next, 3 or 4 months. Like you said, you're trying, especially when I first started playing Magic, I wasn't even sure I'd still be playing Magic 6 months later. So yeah, I'll pay $30 for this thing. We'll see if I like it, especially if it's, let's say, an Angel Pirate. I'm going to keep trying to speak that into existence, or
That
Pirate Angel.
Yeah, exactly. It does matter which one gets preference, I guess.
I guess, does it? I don't know.
Let me say this though, there is an interesting point in here, which is kind of one of the things that also caught my eye is they are also going to make them to where when you buy them, you get the digital counterpart online. So it basically says they're going to give you the learn to play thing so you can teach people how to play the game. Then you encourage them to buy the 60 card deck. And then if they want to play more, even when they're outside the store, they can receive a digital copy of either of the decks they buy by going on and probably, I'm assuming you'll just put the code into Arena and then you'll have the whole deck on there. So that's kind of a cool little added bonus too. So you get a whole deck in two forms right out of the gate for the same price. That's pretty cool. So if we continue doing that each time one comes out, that's actually pretty awesome. Even more so if they have like alternate art or something down the road or some sweet pieces, you might be encouraged to go buy the paper products so you can get that particular thing online in Arena or whatever. There's a lot of ways you could do this to get the crossover interest there. I think that could be very good. So yeah, I'm into this, dude. This feels like to me a very good thing to have come back, even just as an experiment to see if it works. But we'll see how other people feel about it because
Yeah, I feel like this is a thing, especially when I was first starting, that I absolutely would have bought if I see even a character or a mechanic I like. Like you said, at a $30 price point, I mean, if I get a month worth of play out of that, I've enjoyed myself. Because again, I spend sometimes $60 on, well, now $70 on games, or after a week, I'm like, what did I just do with my money? you know?
yeah, and they haven't really said what the price would be, but I'm looking at, if commander decks are in the 45 to 50 range or whatever, and they're 100 cards and they come with extra stuff. And like, if you're getting mostly just the deck in the box and it's 60 cards, I'm assuming 35 to 39 is where we'll be by comparison. Less product, less cardboard to put in the thing, but smaller size, all that. Like, just kind of makes sense. But that's
And
just
also,
me
like you said,
guessing.
with Commander being a thing, also, it's really hard to buy a box of cards and not have, like, hey, even if maybe it's not the thing you want to do for Standard, there could be something in there that turns out to be a Commander you're interested in.
Also true. Yeah. So yeah, I'm into this. It'll be very interesting to see how it works out. We'll see. I think they've needed to bring these back anyway, though. If you do want to build up standard or some of these 60 card formats, you got to have an easy entry point. So hopefully this all. I think it'll take probably 8 to 10 months. I think to get 2, 3 sets of them out there to really see the impact of it. But I think once we have those 6 or 8 decks available, it'll be pretty good.
And some of my favorite content has always been, going back to, again, when I first started playing Magic, is, hey, you just bought this pile of cards. Here's how you upgrade it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Speaking, well, I guess while we're on Magic news, this is something you pointed out to me that Polygon had ran a story on a card that we'd seen a bunch of times, and I just hadn't connected the dots. So this was pretty cool. So why don't you tell us about
Right.
that?
Lore Eclipsed has a reprint of a card you've probably seen several times. You may not have noticed the theme either, but it's a card called Runaway Together. It's a blue sorcery, and the first one apparently was in Throne of Eldraine. Probably that's probably why I might not have noticed it first. There was a whole bunch of stuff in Throne of Eldraine that took up a bunch of headlines that weren't positive. But this card basically has a human named, I'm probably going to massacre this, Malakin. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I'm sure somebody will tell me. But basically, they are running away hand in hand with what appears to be some kind of giant scarecrow construct. And the flavor text basically says, virtue is virtue, whatever the heart that nurtures it. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's cute. There's probably way more story here. And I didn't realize it, but apparently every so often they reprint this card, and each time they have another very atypical romantic pairing. Like in Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, there's a goblin that apparently is in love with the Mind Flayer. And the
Yeah.
flavor text on that one is basically saying true love means always knowing what's on the other's mind. And if you know either the D&D or Stranger Things lore, yeah, mind flayers are really good at reading people's minds. So
And
yeah, of
bro,
course.
to interrupt you, playing Baldur's Gate 3, man, that Mind Flayer tries to get fresh with you a couple times.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, he for real tries, dog. I'm not even playing. So if you ain't played Baldur's Gate 3, spoiler, keep your eye out for that. Anyway,
So
continue.
apparently, horny mind flayers are a running thing for the franchise. Good or bad to know, depending on how you look at it. And then this is probably the super cutest one in Bloomborough. There's a frog and an otter on a little sailboat. And the flavor text is nobody bothered to look for Lebo and Pula because everybody knew they didn't want to be found. And I'm telling you, this art is all this art is great. This one could just it's got an otter. You got an otter and a frog. You're already halfway to super adorable. And yeah,
Yeah,
this
because
is
that's the
so
one where they're in like the little leaf boat or whatever, right?
yep,
Yeah, yeah.
so cute. And then the one that we have for Lauren Eclipsed is again like with the Mind Flayer. I don't want to think about all the physics of how it works, but there's an elf in love with the fairy, and again from the lore, elves and fairies apparently are not besties on Lorwyn.
Yeah, it's the Romeo Juliet situation.
Yeah, apparently because fairies apparently steal dreams, and this is again great flavor text. We don't talk enough about the flavor text on some of these cards. This one says, "You don't need to steal my dreams, my love. They are already yours." Like, oh my god,
Yep,
it's just
yep.
right, all in the feels right there,
That's that stuff you say to your woman when you're trying to melt her heart on like Valentine's Day or whatever.
right. And you don't come up with anything as good as that. Hallmark doesn't have anything, and there's a playmat of it also. Yeah, that is just that is awesome. I want this playmat so much.
Yeah, it's such a cool idea because again, that's one of those things that's existed and just been there. And you've probably seen the artwork and you went, "Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense for the card name." But then you didn't really connect it over and over and over, right? That this has been a running theme. And obviously, this is probably done purposely through art direction and,
Right,
but it's cool. I think it's kind of neat. I mean, and I'm with you. You can't think about logistics. I think I told you off the air that just the other day I saw uh basically it was a Chihuahua pit bull. Had like Chihuahua shaped head on a pit bull body, and I just went,
right.
ain't gonna ask questions.
That's
I mean, put that in your head as you will. What went down, but you know, don't get me wrong. I wondered, but I wasn't gonna ask.
that's like one of those toys, the Wuzzles, where it would just be like an elephant with wings instead of. That's what that
Yeah.
feels like. It looks like.
So you kind of go, it's a little weird, but it's fantasy, it's magic. We can things can be what they are, I guess.
Right.
But
I
yeah, I
thought you were
think
still talking the pit bull and the Chihuahua. Like, yeah, that is.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
magical in some kind of way.
No, I think this is a cool story though. I mean,
Right.
just a neat idea of some, and I like those little touches because for as much as I tell people, all we really want is just cool magic cards to play with, right? We almost don't care what's on them, whatever. But when they're still taking the care and the time to do stuff like this, it is cool because you're still, throwing a bone to the people who do care about that stuff, who care about the artwork,
Exactly.
who care about the story, whoever. Like you're getting these little pieces, and it's cool when you have cards that you can bring back because they're generically named and they just can fit in
Yeah.
multiple scenarios.
And again, it's a celebration of diversity at a time when we are seeing so much of that get pulled back. So this is obviously letting somebody somewhere inside the walls of Wizards is saying, "Hey, we see you, and whatever your love is, it's love." You know,
Yep, love is love. Let it be what it is, dog. Ain't my business. Kind of like the Chihuahua. Ain't my business. Yeah, like you just do what you want to do, man. So yeah, there was another cool thing because I didn't even know there was a God of War TV show coming that apparently they're working out. But you, being entrenched in the video game space, found out that apparently they're actually using a character from the game in the series.
yeah, the Ryan Hurst, an actor that played, he actually played Thor in God of War Ragnarok. So basically, like they were casting Kratos and just kind of went, "Hey, you over there, Thor? would you like to be Kratos?" Thor said, "Well, yes, I would." He looks if you look him up, you may know him because he's been in a bunch of shows. He was on Sons of Anarchy, and I'm talking about big franchise shows. Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead. So he definitely somebody known for not just video game voice acting, but I mean TV acting and across all genres. So again, I guess when you got that kind of experience in house, yeah, why not cast him as Kratos? It's going to be an Amazon Prime show. We don't have a release date yet. The showrunner is going to be Ronald D. Moore, and geeks are already like, because he did the phenomenal reboot of Battlestar Galactica. So everything, I just heard of it, but everything I've heard and seen so far is okay. Yeah, this is sounding like it's going to be a banger. I'm excited.
Bro, I just went and looked up this guy. Like, if you shave his head and
Right?
dye his beard, he's damn close.
Yeah, this is because video game characters are video game characters. You will very rarely get somebody because again, they're like comic book characters. Their proportions are crazy. Their design, with using computer technology where they when you first made God of War, nobody 25 even 20 years ago, 20 or 25, I forget. A long time ago, nobody was thinking this is going to be a huge series and that someday we're going to be doing a TV show on Amazon. We weren't even thinking Amazon 20 years ago. What's an Amazon? This is probably where we still
Yeah.
were.
Dude, the crazy thing is, if you'd have told me like to just find somebody to be Kratos, I'm probably either starting at like Dave Batista, if we can grow a beard,
Right.
or Triple H, who's retired and can't do stunts. Right? Like, and then
Triple H definitely. I've seen a lot of fan art of him looking like Kratos.
yeah, he kind of looks like him. I was like, that would make sense. But really, this other dude, what Ryan Hurst, I think you said his name was. Yeah, like this dude. If you're a fan of God of War, I could see this being like, oh, he is Kratos. Like if you get him, painted up and get the makeup on or whatever, he might be the dude for
Right.
real. That's a
And they
good
are going to
casting.
start in the timeline where basically, as the fans joke, he is dad of boy, where Atreus is about 10 years old. As the description says, basically, he's trying to teach Atreus how to be a god, and Atreus is trying to teach him how to be a human being. And that really is Kratos' journey. Like, I've got friends that are like, man, I don't like it anymore. Why is he a babysitter? Like, because before that, Kratos is essentially an unrepentant murderer and not really a very lovable
Yeah,
character.
he was just an anti-hero,
Yeah.
basically. Just
Sure,
murder
it's fun
whatever.
to go around and rip mythological creatures' limbs off, but to sell a TV show or really even a game award winning game, you need some story in there.
Yeah, and honestly, this, to my knowledge, is the one I remember seeing the most people talk about as far as their game. Seeing the most memes for, seeing the most people
Right?
playing on YouTube videos, like easily the most active one that I've seen out there, at least as far as the gaming public. So it makes sense that you would also want that to be the thing you're basing your Amazon series on.
Because I think anybody that's got kids will tell you that there is probably nothing that changes your life more than having children. Where
Bro,
every
I don't
decision
even
you make from then on is like, it's not just about you anymore. It's about you, your spouse, and your kids.
I don't even have kids. It's like having kids just of family members, having my nephews or even friends having kids, like you become somewhat like you want to help them and feel responsible for them.
Right?
Like it changes for real. You're like, man, there's these people that look up to us that are relying
Yeah.
on us for stuff or whatever. And like it changes. So I could see how you could write stories about that and make it an interesting TV show.
Imagine how crazy your family is. Now your family's full of Norse and Greek gods.
Yeah,
You gotta
that is
Odin
crazy.
and Zeus be wilding all the time.
Bro, like that's the thing. For all the stuff we talk about we shouldn't teach in school, whatever, man, all the stuff you learn about the gods
Yeah, we
of
happily teach Greek mythology
oh my
starting in
god,
around probably 6th or 7th grade English, and
all the
it's
different
wild.
types of cultures that had gods, like there's all kinds of crazy stories and people sleeping with people and trying to murder each other and but like it's just endless, it's like
Sunday school. When you start learning about King David, like David did what?
yeah, exactly. We're like, man, we're focusing on the wrong. We're just making up talking points. We
I'm
teach a
probably
lot of
10
stuff that's
years old.
crazy.
Like, wait, still, let me get this straight. David wanted this woman.
Hmm.
So he said, I'm a sin. I can't kill her husband. I could just send her husband into battle with, you know,
Yep. Hope you don't come back.
yeah, with a blood stick and the Three Stooges, and hope he don't make it back. Like what?
I'm just telling you, there's some wild stuff in writing that we just kind of gloss over.
And
That
we got no problem teaching our kids
yeah.
that. It's Sunday school.
Oh man. So yeah, also want to remind everybody because I did mention at the top of the show that we did do the Lorwyn early access on Wednesday, and it was a lot of fun. Crazy decks, lots of cool stuff. All the themes that you expect would be fun are fun. You know, the elves, the fairies, you know, whatever. So good stuff. But quick reminder that you can play with it yourself if you go to your local game stores this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pre-releases around the world. Go play and have fun. If you want to, here's the thing. I want to just mention this before we get out of here, but if you are one of the people that says, I don't want universes beyond in my magic, or that we should do more magic set stuff and blah, blah, you should be doing your part to make the
Right?
magic stuff bigger, right? If you, because just complaining about universe beyond ain't going to solve your problem.
No.
You have to show them, like, hey, no, we still really like this other stuff. Get out there, go to your local store, go teach people to play with these, help people build decks. You know, go have a good time this weekend. Enjoy yourself some magic. On that note, Brian, where can they find you when you're not doing the show?
Yeah, I'm writing a bunch of stuff over at App Trigger, so by all means, stop by there. App Trigger is also on Blue Sky.
Yeah, if you don't have a place where you're reading about your video game use, we know a guy who writes for one. You should go over to App Trigger. Y'all know if you're already here, you can follow me everywhere at PowrDragn, PowrDragn. And we have a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipe. Want to let everybody know, I finally have gone through all the hoops, jumped through all the things. I am able to get an interview with Arena devs, so that is going to be happening in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully the video will be up about a week after that. Basically, answering all your questions and dispelling all your rumors about Arena. So if you're interested in that, be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But as always, wherever you are watching or listening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please remember to take care of yourselves and your family. Remember to be awesome. And most importantly, especially right now with the craziness in the world, be awesome to each other.